Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
I have the privilege now to holding Mass in a Reformed Lutheran church every Sunday. I speak almost only about the love of God every Sunday. I can read the love from every Bible verse and I can translate it into our real life. But is this enough?
No, you must do more. I want you to stand on street corners every day for 5 or 8 hours a day. I want you to travel to all the countries of the world. I want you to write 15 more books. You must do much, much more. But thank you for what you are doing. Okay, no more joking, to be serious.
But I love this.
I couldn't really think of how an all-loving God would do such things. And
Yes.
yeah, and
That's the exact same problem. Let me interrupt you just to share with you.
Yeah.
I had the exact same problem with my religion. I was born into a Catholic family, and Catholics say the same thing. Our religion is the only religion, and if you don't belong to our religion and accept our beliefs, you are going to hell. Thank you for giving me hope for tomorrow.
Yeah, Neale, we are very pleased that you took time for us today. We both already know each other. I'm Torge Meyer, and I welcome you here at my side. We are in different cities in Germany. For us, it's 9 p.m. For you in Origin, it's 12 p.m. First question, how are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
It's not 12 p.m. It's 12. Yeah, it's 12 noon. Yeah, that's right. 12 in the afternoon.
You know. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Neale, at first I like to introduce you to our people here. First, Hadi Nabulsi. He's also at my side. He's a member of our League of Pantheists. We have an association, a pantheistic association, and he supports me today with moderation a little bit. And he's currently sitting in Hamburg. You know Hamburg?
Yes, I love Hamburg. I've been there several times, and they have the greatest restaurants in the world in Hamburg.
Yeah. I love Hamburg too.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, and we have Lothar Pierce. He is the founder and CEO of the Maharishi Ayurveda Health Center in Bad Ems. The center is the largest in Europe for Ayurveda. And he also founded and leads the Foundation for the Promotion of Vedic Culture Heritage in Germany. And this foundation supports the training of traditional Vedic students in Nepal. And this contribution helps foster peace in the world. And we talk about the Vedic papers in the last conversation. And Lothar holds the position of professor of practice at DBU Dr. D.I. Patil University in India. And he also worked with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi for many years and authored the book, The Blessings of Maharishi, The Amazing Story of My Life. You know Maharishi?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And it's wonderful that we have him with us today, and he sits in Bad Ems. And we have Anke. You know Anke from the last time. Anke had a near-death experience 15 years ago and has made peace with her life and with God. She wrote a book about this. and now she leads church services every Sunday in which she speaks about the love of God. And she's connected from Berlin. Yeah, Berlin. And we have Ruben Faust. He's Ankes' son. He studies philosophy and English and would like to translate today because Ankes' German is much better than her English. Yeah. And he speaks to us from Rostock. Yeah. Okay, that's our people today. And Neale, it was your birthday a few days ago. Have you recovered from the celebration now?
Just barely.
Yeah. Neale, we wish you the best for your new year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have also,
I turned 80 years old.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You barely look a day over 79.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. And we have also prepared something else, but we get that to the end, I think. Yeah. We want to start with the first topic. It's about
when do I get to say, when do I have the opportunity to say, ich denke, du bist verrückt? It's
Yeah.
the only sentence I get to speak in German.
Oh.
But you spelled it very good.
No, I can also say, ich liebe dich.
Yeah, that's better.
Ja, ich liebe dich ist better, denn ich glaube, du bist
Yeah,
verrückt.
yeah.
Yeah, Neale. The first topic is life after death, and we have and life and death, and we have Anke on our side, and I said she wrote a book about this, about her near-death experience, and Anke, now it's your turn at this time.
Okay. Hello, dear Neale. I'm so very pleased to see you again. And I thank you for once again having this discussion. Torge did just say, we even talked about it in your last talk. I had a near-death experience, but today I'd like to talk more about life than death. As my heart stopped beating, I have found into a new life again. And the hours before that, I made peace with the life I have had. And in the moment of my death, I felt safe into God. In these moments, there was no fear and no panic. I have seen things and talked with some entities. And this experience was so profound, I never forgot. You have written many great books, but also a book about living and dying in God, home with God. My takings from that were that we must be able to take peace with the life we have right now, and then live within our love. Who lives love will become the peace this world needs right now. How do you see that?
I agree with everything you've said.
Hat mich nicht verstanden?
Doch, er sagt, er stimmt allem zu, was du sagst.
Okay. Can you tell us about your thoughts on life and dying?
I think when we die, we realize immediately how pointless so many of our saddest and most angry moments really were. When we die, we realize what really matters, what is really important. And we often wonder, I had a near-death experience as well, and I think that what happens is we often wonder, how could I have given so much energy to things that were so unimportant. If we die and if we really cross over to the other side, we suddenly realize the only thing that's truly important. And that is that we have demonstrated in our life who we really are. That we really are simply a source of love, the expression of divine love, and nothing else matters. So when I realize how much of my life, how many of the moments of my life that I wasted worrying about things that simply were not important, or becoming angry or upset or frustrated about things that didn't really matter. So I wish I wish I had died sooner. Because I wish I had died sooner so that I could live faster and easier sooner as well. So I think the best thing that can happen to us in our lifetime is for us to die and have the miracle of coming back for a second chance to really experience who we really are.
Yes. And
those are the thoughts that I would add to what you said. But all I did was say the same thing you said. It just took me more words.
Yes. I realized what matters in life. And for me it was, I wanted to go home in peace. And so I forgive all the things another people have done to me and all what I have done. All what I've done.
Nice. What a miracle.
Yes. Ruben, ich brauche dich jetzt. I'm sorry, I have no English words. Seit ich das erlebt habe, kann ich nicht mehr aufhören, die Liebe zu leben.
Since I experienced that, I can't stop living love.
Ja. Und wenn ich wütend werde oder traurig werde, dann passiert das. Aber nur für einen kurzen Moment. Ich bin dann eine Sekunde wütend oder traurig.
When I get angry or sad, it only happens for a single second that I am angry or sad.
Ja, ich verstehe.
Yeah, I know. I read your books. Ich glaube, dass ich diesen Frieden leben muss. Also ich will diesen Frieden leben, damit ich andere mit Frieden anstecke.
I think that I must live this peace, and I want to live this peace to give this peace to other people also.
Ja, sehr gut.
There are people who don't believe that peace on earth is possible. I personally believe, however, that creating peace is the goal that us humans have forgotten long ago. There has never been a different goal. Since men left paradise, God offers his peace again and again, every day. What do you think about that?
I agree with every word you just said.
Ich stimme dir wieder zu.
There are people who place their hopes for peace in prohibiting the religions or unifying them into just one new all-encompassing religion. I personally do not believe that that is the task at hand. On the contrary, I think that every religion holds a spark of God within it and its structures, and we shouldn't make fun or fight different religions, but must remember that we must follow love and not the fear of humanity. Do you believe that is possible?
Yes, I think that I agree with you that every religion on the face of the earth contains great wisdom and wonderful insights. Most people don't know that there are over 4,000 religions now being practiced on the face of the earth. And so what I say about religions, you never make fun of religions, never ridicule or belittle or insult religions. But I think that one observation I would make is that most of the world's religions are incomplete. That is, they don't have the whole story. There's more for us to learn and more for us to know about the ultimate reality that we call God. So I simply put in front of the world a question. Is it possible, just possible, that there's something we don't fully understand here about God, about life, and about who we are, the understanding of which would change everything?
Yes.
And I think the answer is yes, there is something we don't understand. And what we don't understand are two things. Number one, we don't understand that God is pure love, that God would never judge, never condemn, and never punish anyone for anything, because God needs nothing. God does not even need our worship. God does not need our obedience. God does not need our love. That does not mean that God does not feel pleasure when we love God, but God does not need anything from us because God is the highest power in the universe. So that's the first thing we don't fully understand about God, is that God needs nothing. God's relationship with us is like our relationship with a 2-year-old baby. We don't need anything from the 2-year-old baby, and God needs nothing from us. The second thing that we don't fully understand is who we are. Most people do not fully realize that each of us is an individual expression of God, of the divine. We don't understand that God lives in us, as us, and through us. The few people who have understood that, we call them saints. We call them sages. We call them masters or teachers, messengers. But if we all understood who we are, our true identity, we would change the way we behave with each other. And the world's problems would be solved. The world's injuries would be healed overnight. And that's what people do understand when they've had a near-death experience. They usually come back as a totally different person, because they now see that God is pure love and they now see that they are also pure love.
Yeah, thank you very much. I don't think that any one religion has more truth than a different one, or that any religion is
Well,
better.
no,
than
my religion does.
Okay. May we call you saint?
Everyone says my religion has the greatest truth because I'm Catholic. No, because I'm Muslim.
Yeah.
No, because I'm Hindu. I'm Hindu.
Yeah.
No, because I'm because I'm a Mormon. Yeah, of course, Mormons have all the faith, all the truth. So everybody says my religion is the one true religion. And if you don't belong to my religion, you're going to hell. And that's how 2-year-old children behave.
Yes.
But when we grow up, when we reach a level of spiritual maturity, we understand how, to use a dramatic word, we understand how silly we are being with each other. God would never act that silly with us. We do not have a silly God.
We must remember that no religion is the sole truth path, but that every human being, no matter their origins or their religion, lives within God and His love. I have the privilege now to holding Mass in a Reformed Lutheran church every Sunday. I speak almost only about the love of God every Sunday. I can read the love from every Bible verse and I can translate it into our real life. But is this enough?
No, you must do more. I want you to stand on street corners every day for 5 or 8 hours a day. I want you to travel to all the countries of the world. I want you to write 15 more books. You must do much more. But thank you for what you are doing. Okay, no more joking, to be serious.
But I love this.
I thank you very much. Wenn ich am Ende des Gottesdienstes den Segen spreche, dann mache ich es so, dass wenn wir es ist das Leben auf der einen Achse und die Liebe auf der anderen. Und wenn wir die Liebe und das Leben integrieren, dann ist die Schnittstelle zwischen Leben und Liebe Frieden.
She's
Of
saying
course.
when she's in the church service and she says her blessing, then she has the analogy that there's the life on one axis and the love on the other axis, and they're like different poles, and when life and love cross each other, that's when Anke, das wollte ich sagen, also wenn Liebe und Leben sich kreuzen. Cross each
Ich
other.
verstehe.
He
In the
understands.
middle-
He understands.
Yeah.
In
the middle is the
und die
peace.
Leben.
Yeah.
Die Liebe und die Leben.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when
Genau.
love and life crosses is in the middle the Christ. And this is peace.
Yeah. Nice way to put it. A very nice way to put it.
I thank you very much. I thank you very much for this talk. Yes. Danke.
Yeah. Thank you, Anke, for being here. And now, Lothar, it's your turn. You talk about religion and Ayurveda with Neale.
Yeah, do you know Ayurveda, Neale?
Am I what?
Do you know Ayurveda?
Oh, I have not. No, I have not read. that material. I know about it, of course, but
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the
Yeah.
Ayurveda.
Well, first of all, I would like to say how happy and how honored I feel to be with you tonight.
Oh, it's lovely. Thank you. That's a nice thing to say.
And I really enjoy your wisdom and your love and your great knowledge that you have. And all the people who read your books, they love you, you know. And I told them that I will be tonight with you. Everybody really said, what a wonderful person you are. And to just tell you a little bit about me, I had the great fortune to meet His Holiness Maharishi Mahesh Yogi 49 years ago, and I learned transcendental meditation. And that completely transformed my life.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah. And I then had a very strong desire to become a teacher of his transcendental meditation. And I have taught thousands of people in all continents. And I really could see how their life got transformed just within a few days.
Yes.
And I was living 7 years kind of in a monastery with him. And under his guidance, we were researching consciousness through the transcendental experience as a field of all possibilities. We were studying the Vedic literature and also compared it with modern science. And then when Maharishi started with the health part of Ayurveda, the Vedic knowledge, Ayurveda, in 1983, 1984, I had the great fortune to be in the team with him and the greatest Ayurvedic scholars and experts from India. And I could really see how many chronic diseases could be cured with, natural means. And then Maharishi inspired me to open a clinic in a spa town of Bad Ems, which is now recognized by UNESCO as one of the 11 greatest spas of Europe. And we have treated 30,000 people here with Ayurvedic, treatments, detoxification programs, and just simple advices about diet and herbal products. And we have seen that we could treat successfully many people who had chronic diseases who couldn't be helped otherwise. And I have made it now the mission of my life to spread Maharishi's knowledge about Ayurveda in the world and to make it a part of the healthcare system in all countries. And I think that the health problems that we are facing today, there is not really a solution for the chronic problems, like diabetes and cancer and so many other health issues that we have. And modern medicine has a very important role. Also, I wouldn't be sitting here without the help of modern medicine. But modern medicine really cannot treat the root cause of disease. We know from Ayurveda that all diseases come because of imbalances in the mind, in the body, behavior, and environment. And these imbalances, they manifest gradually in 6 stages. And modern medicine can detect, in spite of all the technology that we have, from the Ayurvedic perspective, the diseases only once they have manifested to stage number 4 or 5. And this knowledge of Ayurveda was even to a large extent lost in the Indian education system, but in the family traditions, very important parts were kept. And Maharishi has worked with all these great family traditions and put it together like a puzzle. And we have a system like pulse diagnosis, which is called Nadi Vigyan, where by feeling the pulse, the Ayurvedic expert can detect the diseases before they actually manifest. And this knowledge is now needed in the world to make our world more healthy. So I just wanted to share that with you. And another important aspect of that knowledge is that we know in Ayurveda that the most important thing is the realization of the inner self, which is called Atma in Vedic terms. And the word health in Ayurveda means established in the self, swasthya. And the word illness in Sanskrit, the most ancient language, is called pragyaparat. That means, when we analyze from the roots, it means the mistaken intellect. That means our intellect makes the mistake that we identify with the outer world and we forgot who we are in our innermost self. And Ayurveda has many, many different approaches, and it's a sister science of yoga. The word yoga means unification. So the unification with the divine value of life, with the inner self, which is by its nature bliss consciousness, unbounded awareness, this is a very powerful tool to create health from within. And when we look at the collective health now, you know, all the crime that we have and terrorism and war, even that is mentioned in the ancient scriptures, which are thousands of years old in the Vedic literature. They even describe how wars happen when people lose the connection to the self. They don't follow dharma, which is the will of God, the inner duty. And then they become greedy and egoistic, and then they start to spoil the food and the water. And then gradually the aggression comes to fight with other people or to be fought. And Maharishi really had, you know, he revived the whole Vedic knowledge and brought it together with modern science. And he said there are descriptions in the Vedas how to create peace in the world. And Maharishi said if we have like 1% of the population transcending, and it's very easy to transcend with the technique of transcendental meditation, that from this deepest level of life, waves of harmony and love, they spread around. And they actually remove the tensions in society. It's described in the yoga text, in the ancient yoga text, that in the vicinity of sattva, that means peace and harmony, the negativity goes away. Like when we bring the light, the darkness goes away. And I want to bring it to the attention of the people in the world that it's possible to create peace in the world. We just need to have enough people who go back and experience the simplest state. And we have seen through the scientific research that all the brainwave activities, they become coherent, they can become orderly during the meditation practice. And we know from quantum physics that everything in the universe is connected from this deepest level of life. So here really is a technology that is independent from any religion or lifestyle. Everybody can learn it, no matter what religion people follow. And at the same time, I have observed from my experience that people, when they practice this simple form of transcendental meditation, that they begin to follow and live and understand their own religion. And what Torge is doing and all his friends, the pantheismus, is seeing God in everything. So here we have really a technology that is removing the stress from us and to start to receive more the reality of life. And I think you have contributed and awakened the consciousness of so many people who read your books, that they started to believe there is some truth in that. And I think what we can contribute from Maharishi Mahesh Yogi's teaching, the Vedic understanding, is that there is a technology that can help everybody without having to go through this near-death experience to start to grow in inner enlightenment and peace. Does it make sense to you?
No, not a single thing you said makes any sense whatsoever. None of it makes any sense. So you should never. Of course, it makes sense. It makes everything, every single word that you've said. And the real question is not whether it makes sense, but what would it take to bring this technology to more and more and more people? And now, these days, because we have the technical tools that we didn't have 25 or 30 years ago, we can now bring this information to millions of people much more rapidly. I'm very, very, I don't want to use the word impressed, because who am I to be impressed? But I'm very inspired is a better word. I'm inspired by hearing you talk and by what you have to share. And I hope that you will continue to use your life in the wonderful way that you are using it to bring this information to as many people as possible. Yes, it is possible to have world peace in our lifetimes. And we have the technology. We have the ability. Peace is who we really are.
Yeah.
Love is who we really are. And all we have to do is find a way to get back in touch with who we really are. And you're sharing a marvelous technology that can be used by any, as you said, anyone of any religion, any race, any culture, any nationality, any political persuasion. It doesn't matter. The technology can be used by anyone because it does not violate anyone's other beliefs. It simply puts you in touch with the true essential self. So, boy, bless you for the work you are doing.
Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to share my experience, and I had the great fortune for many years to work directly with the great sage, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who sent me to many countries to talk to heads of states and government ministers and big groups of doctors. And I really have experienced miracles during that time. And these miracles we call in our organization support of nature. That means good luck is something that is not a coincidence. It can be cultured when you start to perform from that silence level of the mind. And I have written the book, The Blessings of Maharishi, where I describe from my own experience. You know, he was working 22 hours a day.
Yes.
I was living, I had my office for several months in his suite, and I could see how he works around the clock to help the world to become peaceful. And I have really seen miracles happening working with him. So I wanted to share my experience in that book. And then I started to know about, participating in projects. Like I went to Africa in 1984. I was in Kenya. And there were many schools in the slum areas of Nairobi where they had a lot of violence. They were fighting and burning the classrooms, and they were attacking the teachers. And in these schools, there were at that time 70% of the students didn't pass the examinations. And I taught with my colleagues about 4,000 children, primary and secondary school children, the transcendental meditation. And the whole atmosphere within 2-3 weeks was completely changed. And I stayed there for 1 year, supervising the project. And when I left, they had 3 government examinations. And in every single examination in these slum schools, 70% of the kids have passed the examination. And the violence was completely gone. And in some other African country, we have taught all the inmates in prisons transcendental meditation. Like in Senegal, they had about 12 prisons. And usually about 70%, 80% of the inmates, when they get released from prison, within a year, they are back in prison. And the people, when they had started transcendental meditation, only 10 or 20% had to go back to prison. So we can also rehabilitate the prisoners, you know. And we have done some scientific research on the brain activities. You see, if people become criminals, that means some parts of the brain, they are not working. There is no blood circulation anymore. And if those areas of the brain are correlated to good thinking and ethics, and they are not working anymore, you can tell the people what you want. You can't rehabilitate them. But when the people go back to the self and start to release the stress and transcend, then their brain begins to function better, and they have a real accomplishment of rehabilitation. I was told that in United States, the Pentagon, you know, the part of the defense ministry, they have lots of problems with these soldiers who are completely traumatized after the war. And when they came from Afghanistan and other war parts of the world. And it's very difficult to rehabilitate the people because they have gone to so many horrible things. And they have seen that the TM, Transcendental Meditation, is the most powerful tool to help these people back to a normal life. So it's really a wonderful technology, and thank you for your good wishes and your blessings. And we are many in the world. You know, Marshi's organization is established in more than 100 countries. And so we are doing our best to introduce it into schools, into companies, into the health services, into the prisons. So here is really a knowledge that just has to be applied to create a better world. A world of peace and love and happiness and creativity and joy.
Thank you for the work that you're doing. Wonderful, wonderful information.
If you come to Germany, Neale, I would be very happy, you know, to host you here in my center. It's a beautiful facility. It is a town that has a tradition of 2,000 years of healing water. We have 19 heating water sources in the spa town of Bad Ems. And the building where we are operating now used to be 20 years, the palace in the summer of Kaiser Wilhelm I. And when you come to Germany, please do visit us. I'll pick you up from the airport Frankfurt. It's only 1 hour away. And get a taste of these wonderful rejuvenating treatments.
Thank you. And I'm going to read the book, The Blessings of Maharishi. I'm going to read that book immediately.
Thank you.
Thank you for telling me about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Very exciting, very exciting. Folks, we have a chance here. We have a real chance. Listen to every word that's being spoken here.
Yeah. That's the reason why I like to connect with Lothar. That's a great thing, what he say, I think. Yeah. And,
absolutely.
Yeah. And we make our work with the League of Pantheists. Hardy, do you like to tell Neale your story how your way was to pantheism and the League of Pantheists and me.
Yeah, I can tell it. First, also for me, it's a pleasure to meet you. I didn't find my way directly to pantheism. It was that I was raised in a Muslim family, and I didn't have any touch with spiritual life or with pantheism at all. And then the girlfriend from my brother, who is also not really a spiritual person, over 2 years ago, she has given me the first book of your series, talk with, I don't know how it's called in English.
Conversation with God.
Conversation with God, yeah. And the first part, and I didn't know anything about it yet, and I read it, and I was like mind blown. Yeah.
Did you read it in English or German?
No, in German.
Yes.
And it was really mind blowing. It was the first time I was ever confronted with the thought of me being one part of God. And yeah, this has totally changed my point of view. And it was a time where I was really struggling with the concept of Islam. Like the Islam helped me before, but when I learned more about science and philosophy, etc., and ethics, there were some concepts which I couldn't support anymore from my within. So, for example, that you put yourself on a better place than others. So you say I'm Muslim and the others are disbelievers, for example, or that God separates between believers and disbelievers and puts one part of the humanity in paradise while others go in hell. I couldn't really think of how an all-loving God would do such things. And
yes.
Yeah, and
that's the exact same problem. Let me interrupt you just to share with you.
Yeah.
I had the exact same problem with my religion. I was born into a Catholic family, and Catholics say the same thing. Our religion is the only religion, and if you don't belong to our religion and accept our beliefs, you are going to hell. And like you, there was a time in my life when I thought, how can an all-loving God send a person to hell simply because they belong to a different religion?
Yeah.
So I did the same thing with my Catholic religion. I simply stepped aside from it, and I realized that all the world's great religions have wonderful wisdom. There's great wisdom in all the world's great religions. They're simply incomplete. They don't have the whole story. And now it's, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I want to hear the rest.
No problem. Yeah, thank you for your mentions. And actually, when I read your book, it wasn't after I read your book, I didn't instantly went to pantheism. I went through a pretty difficult life crisis. Also because I left Islam, I had no ground, no fundament of belief anymore, and it was like someone took away my compass, like
yes.
And I had to figure it out on my own. And yeah, but then one night, I remember this night, I don't know, I wanted to bring back my cat home, or maybe I went out and I looked at the stars, and I had like many problems, many questions for life, and I looked at the stars and asked God or the universe for a solution or help, anything, and advice. And at the same night, I found Torge's channel and the Association of Pantheists, and something in me was so curious to contact him and say that I want to be a part of it, because your content, like, it instantly aligned with what I've read in your book. many time ago. So it was like maybe 1 year after I read your book that I found it, and then I instantly remembered it, and it aligned with it, and I had this urge to indulge in this association, and contacted him, and this was actually 2 years ago. And what happened was a really intense friendship. I met great people. I found it in total new believing system. It was pantheism. Like, my problems weren't solved. I still struggle with many things in my life right now, but it helped me because, for example, now I'm talking to the person who has written the book, which has changed my life. Like, I wouldn't have imagined this before, I think. And all this because, like, it was, I can't call it coincidence anymore. Like, I don't know. When I think about it, I think it should have happened this way, and I was given the chance to go this path, and luckily I have decided to contact Torge, and now I'm here and I'm talking to you and to the other people, and I've met all of you great people and guys, and I can't say anything else or anything more.
What is your age? How old are you?
I'm 24.
24.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. You're a child. You have your whole life ahead of you. You have 60 years, at least 60 years ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that you have had the experience that you've had. And imagine if I had known when I was 24 what you know when you're 24. I didn't understand any of this until I was 64.
Mm-hmm.
I was 63, 64 years old before I truly understand what you understand now. Think of the good that you can do in the world. In the rest of your 20s and your 30s and your 40s and your 50s and your 60s and your 70s. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you're right. You are right. There are no coincidences in the universe. Nothing happens by coincidence. And I'm so happy to know that someone of your age, you may be 24, but you talk like someone who's 84 because you have the wisdom and the understanding now. Use your life to bring good to everyone whose life you touch.
Yeah.
That was the most important message, the most important message that I received in conversations with God. I've been asked many times by the media, by the newspapers and television, Neale, if there was one message that's the most important message of all in your conversations with God, what would it be? And I tell them, this is the most important message. God said to me, Neale, your life is not about you. Your life is about everyone whose life you touch and the way in which you touch it. And then in the largest sense, your life really is about you because, Neale, there's only one of us in the room. We are all one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish someone had told me that when I was 24. You are a blessed person to have learned that.
But I want to stress out how you changed my life with your philosophy, like this idea that we are all one. I remember when I was in the central station in Hamburg, there's a lot of poverty and a lot of like people who are really on the edge, you know, and on the bottom line. And when before I used to look at these people like a danger or a threat, but when I had integrated this idea of oneness, I remember I saw one of the, it was during the Corona pandemic, and like everyone was so obsessed of infecting and wearing masks, disinfecting and so on. And I saw one guy, he was totally injured. He had no mask, nothing, and walking, and I looked at him from the perspective of oneness. I imagined that that we two are one, and if he's in a bad position, then I'm also. And this has motivated me like never before to build up an empathy towards him. And this is why I decided to help him. I disinfected his hands and gave him my spray that I had in my own bag, and gave him some something to eat. And this, like, I felt like I was him, and I was suffering too. And this is why I had I felt responsible to help him. And I think this is also one fundamental effect of your philosophy, or the philosophy of pantheism, that it really influences our ethics and how we treat other people. And I think if we would apply this on a global perspective, like on politics, or this has a lot of potential to change the world, because if I can do this to another person, I could also do it to a country or to a society, for example. Yeah.
Thank you for giving me hope for tomorrow.
And I would like to say at this moment, Hardy is one of my best friends, and he's important part of our association. And I must say, I can't live without Hardy. Hardy is very,
Thank you, Torge.
very a great
I
person.
can't live without you. And I must
Yeah.
say, no, I want to use the chance to say that Torge is a key person in my life, and that he was the one who he has founded the League of Pantheism in Germany, and has put the baseline for all these friendships, all these events to happen. And like, if Torge wouldn't have the courage to build this association and listen to his inner voice, then all this wouldn't have happened. I don't know where I would be now. I don't know where Anke would be now. Like, it all started with the decision of a person, and yeah. Thank you.
Hardy.
Ich will auch gerne noch kurz was sagen, wenn ich darf.
Ja.
Ich brauche dich jetzt zum Übersetzen. Also vielen Dank, Hardy. Ich kann das total verstehen, was du mit diesem Menschen gemacht hast, der sich nicht desinfizieren konnte. Übersetzt das mal bitte?
Yeah, so thank you very much, Hardy. I can very much understand why you did what you did with the person who wasn't able to disinfect himself.
Und nach meiner Krankheit damals war ich so schwer krank, dass ich viele Jahre überhaupt gar nichts konnte.
After my sickness in 2009, I was so ill, I literally couldn't do anything.
Ich konnte nur sitzen, ich konnte nicht lange laufen, ich konnte auch nicht gut sprechen.
I was basically only able to sit. It was very hard to speak.
Und in dieser Zeit war mein Sohn erst 8 Jahre alt.
In this time, my son, which is me, was only 8 years old.
Und er brachte ganz viele Kinder aus der Umgebung mit nach Hause. Und so habe ich angefangen, mich um die Kinder der Umgebung zu kümmern und habe sie zu mir eingeladen und habe angefangen, Pflegekinder aufzunehmen.
And he brought a lot of children from the around-lying houses and households into this, and I started caring for them and later also started fostering some children.
Ja, und das mit der Kirche war mir ein Zufall.
And this with the church, this was more
Das
of a
habe ich
random
nicht,
event.
ja,
It
das
wasn't
habe ich nicht
planned.
angestrebt. Das ist einfach passiert. Die Kinder kamen zu mir und ich kümmerte mich um viele, so wie du dich um diesen Menschen gekümmert hast. Und plötzlich entwickelte sich das in der Kirche und heute bin ich in der Kirche unter Pflegekinder.
And I cared for so many children, and then turned into this thing. And later I got to the church then, and there I'm now also caring for a lot of people, and I care for my 2 foster children and my son.
Also wir tun hier alle unser Bestes in Europa.
We are all giving our best here in Central Europe.
Boy, I have met today some wonderful people. All of these wonderful people. It's been a privilege and a joy and an honor for me to have met all of you. Torga, thank you for putting this program together. Thank you for putting your association together. Thank you for having me as a guest on this program. And let's continue to do what we can, joining hands to make the world even better tomorrow. Thank you, Torga.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank
Neil.
you to all. Thank you, all the rest of you.
Thank
I
you.
have been
Thank you very
inspired
much.
today. I have been inspired today by every story that I have heard. Wow. Wonderful.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you. Lots of love to you. Thank you for all the good things that you are doing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Stay healthy and be blessed and be at peace for your new life, new year of life.
Neil, do you like a little bit about your new books? Because in these times you wrote also good books.
Yes. Well, our time is almost up, but it's not necessary for me to talk much about. I've written a book called God Talk, which is a book that explains to everybody how we can all have our own conversations with God. I hope that it serves people. I hope that it brings people some inspiration and some motivation to help them know that all of us are having conversations with God all the time. And now we can do it deliberately with intention. TM is a wonderful tool to use to get in touch with your inner self, your innermost self, which is where God resides, which is why TM is so powerful, because it takes you to the place within you where God resides. So yes, that's the title of the new book, and I'm glad we had a chance to be together today.
Yeah. I like to sing for you, Neil, at the end, because I like to sing to everyone who has a birthday. Can I sing for you once, 1 second?
Natürlich.
Of course, yeah, he speaks German. Okay, that's for you, Neil, because you have birthday, and I will say thank you with that song, simply a happy birthday song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Neil. Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
Sehr schön. Sehr schön.
Thank you.
Danke schön. Danke schön.
Yeah. And at the end, Neil, thank you for the free conversations we have. I it was important for me that I met you, and I must say at the end, you are for me very an authentic person. You sent me an autograph from the USA, and that's very great. And I will wait. I wrote it. Genau. I will cherish the books forever. Conversation with God, and the other books like Home with God and your new books. Thank you, Neale. Yeah.
Thank you, Torger. Let's stay in touch. Make sure we stay connected. Let's not lose the connection.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I hope that
Yeah.
we meet again.
Thank you for your being.
Dankeschön. Dankeschön.
Yeah. Thanks also from me.
Bitteschön. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Wunderbar.